Hey everybody, it's Jenny, and I am back to share with you today how I planned this week. I'm going to take the pages out because we are doing something fun. So you see a couple of really old Happy Planner journaling sticker books and these Disney sticker books, or sticker book, I'm sorry. So this is one of the newer ones, and I love the colors in it. And we're going to use it as the majority of what we're doing, but we're also, spoiler alert, going to add a little bit of a watercolor to those journaling stickers. So I'm just flipping through. This is taking a little longer than normal because there are so many cute decorative stickers in here and it can be a little hard to choose, but I think I've done it. So I am using these Prima watercolors. They come with a little palette and they're super fun, and a water brush. This is one from Fun Stamper's Journey or Spellbinders. I'll see what I can do about linking up, but they're pretty easy to come by. You add water to the handle of the brush and then you can press it out. So anyway, I am adding this speech bubble from the journaling book right here, and it's going to be part of my layering. So I'm adding some water to the palette and the tiniest bit of color, and that helps me add the lightly colored wash to the background. Then when I'm finished with that, I add a little bit more of the color straight from the pan just to create some of the darker areas in the watercolor. This helps so that it doesn't get too oversaturated. So like I wouldn't want to continue to layer the actual yellow water, if you will, from the palette, because then it would get so saturated, and that's not what we want here. So adding a little wash of the yellow water and then a little bit more color allows me to create that mottled look, mottled with the T, not with the D. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here with the purple. So a little squeeze of water, a little bit of purple to create a wash, then add a little bit of the darker color on top just to give the varied intensity in color. Hopefully you can see that right there, how some of it's lighter, some of it's darker. It ends up being so pretty in person. I really do love adding it, and using plain white sticker paper is a way that you can add watercoloring directly to your planner. So you can see in the lower right hand corner right there, we added that box with the watercolor, then the Disney long sticker, and then the little strip. So remember the background, the anchor. So we're going to add the little yellow strip as the accent. Well, okay, we're not. I just wanted to show you that there is always a little bit of indecisiveness. Okay, not always, but sometimes there's some indecisiveness in the planning, right? So I see something and I'm like, I don't know, this phrase probably doesn't go. So we're just going to let that sit for a minute. And definitely it's absolutely what I already told you. There are so many super cute choices in this book. It can be really actually overwhelming to choose. And that's one of the things that I don't normally have a problem with, but with this sticker book, I definitely do. Now I'm going to first put down this other full box and then layer this Mickey and Minnie pink sticker on top of it. It's a tone on tone sticker, and I think it's really adorable. Now remember, we've talked about that before, sometimes using a sticker that I ordinarily wouldn't use, using it as the background. So it's a great way to use the stickers that you look at and you think, not for me, but still get use out of. And that's definitely how I do it, using it as layering. It allows little corners or little strips, pieces to poke through, but you don't have to use the parts that you're not really sure of. Now, one of the fun things about this particular layout and these colors included in the Disney sticker book is I have a wide variety of mild liners and highlighters available to me because there are so many really pretty colors that I like a lot. So for example, that sort of blush pink Stabilo highlighter, I love it. And it's not something I get to use every week because I don't have blush pink in my planner every week. So I love it when I do get that opportunity. I also really enjoy that there's a handful of functional stickers in the Disney sticker book as well, especially like that tiny little strip sticker. So when I'm able to add plans with that, it just feels extra fun. Like, oh my gosh, what a cute little decorative sticker as a functional sticker to write down the activities, appointments, that kind of thing, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, the box stickers will always and forever be my favorite, favorite, but having something to change that up every now and again is key for me because you guys know, if nothing else, I love to try new things and I love to change things up. So that definitely is a huge help for me. Now I need to go through more and more and more, and that's I can't stress to you enough how I'm leaving this all here on purpose. I want you to see that every now and again, there are things that make all of us struggle in our process, right? So I'm a little overwhelmed by this sticker book. I'm not going to lie. And that's not the norm for me. I can normally zero in on something fairly quickly. But this week with this sticker book, it really took me a lot longer to be able to do that. And I know that sometimes we all think, oh my gosh, she does such a great job, and think that like it's just so easy. But I want to point out where the struggling has occurred for me when it happens, certainly. So there we go, the cute little icon. I don't remember where those multicolored icons came from. Some Happy Planner sticker book, obviously, but it is way cute and I absolutely love it. So we're just going to continue on with the pre-planning, if you will, like adding the things before the week begins, all the plans, the activities, and then I'm able to go back each day as things happen and add in, oh, I need to vacuum, I need to pick something up at Target, this appointment cropped up, those types of things. So we're doing the pre-planning, we're alternating writing directly on the page and writing in the boxes. And as you can see, I was also able to pull out the lavender highlighter. Again, I love the color lavender. It's so pretty, but I don't have purple in every week of my planner. And so it's not a color that I get to use every week. Now, I would be very curious if there are any sticker books that make you kind of like me in terms of just being overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, when I look at this sticker book, I just don't know how to use it. Is it because you love it so much, or because there's so many choices, or something else? Maybe it's not a Happy Planner sticker book. Maybe it's a different thing entirely. But I'd be very curious if you have that happen too, because it would probably make me feel less alone that I'm feeling overwhelmed by this Disney sticker book, which is sort of silly when I say that out loud, am I right? So the little Disney or the Mickey Mouse heads on each end do add a challenge for these stickers because it leaves me with ever so slightly less writing room. And when you have big handwriting like I do, that can be, it's definitely something to consider. So I have used these sparingly, if you will. And you can see that I also still am including my favorite box stickers, which is great because the colors are still matching perfectly fine. And it's funny because it's an older sticker book, but it's still just as relevant as it was when it came out. And in fact, maybe more so because I know that I can actually really still get a lot of use out of it and know that it is a long time favorite. So we are back on Saturday and we are just adding the activities, and I love it when I get to use those bigger boxes because those are not ones that I ordinarily reach for. And so when I do, it's really fun to try something different and do something different in my planner. At this time for the pre-planning, I decided to stick with the two highlighter colors. I definitely didn't have to. I could have absolutely chosen some others, yellow or light blue, maybe even aqua. As you can see, there's just so many different colors included in this sticker book and then therefore in this particular layout. But I decided to keep the base really neutral and simple just for it to not be overwhelming. And I think that was probably a pretty good choice because there is so many colors. So at least starting out, it didn't feel really chaotic and like a giant mess. Now I do have this rainbow washi and it's so adorable, and I thought that I would include just a little strip of it over there because I still wanted that accent piece, for that cluster up at the top. And the rainbow washi was the perfect way to do that. So now I'm flipping through and I'm looking for my icons from my stash because the Happy Planner sticker books don't have all of the things that I need, like a phone, for example. Any of the ones that I own don't have a phone, and I like to notate phone calls and things like that. So now you can see we are ready to go for the week, and I'm going to add my activities. I just was totally blanking on the word that I need to include on Monday. I had left a box blank for that because I thought my son would probably go back to his apartment, and I wanted to not write it just in case that didn't happen, but I wanted to, like a blank box, I could figure out anything to do with that. So it was no big deal. So you can see I am also adding another one of those journaling stickers, and I'm going to add a little bit more watercolor. So remember, there's the watercolor palette, and then I'll use a brush. Isn't that awesome? And there is water in the handle, and you just squeeze the end of it and a little bit of water comes out, and you can mix up these beautiful colors. And so I'm doing that with that sticker right there that I'm going to write on. However, I'm going to do the watercolor now and then let it sit and dry, and I'll come back and write on it later so that my pen doesn't, it would actually probably feather more than anything, like you wrote on wet sticker paper, it would just sort of feather. So it was much easier to just let that dry and do it a different day rather than make a giant mess with it. So I'm continuing to add things as I go throughout the week, and that includes icons as well. And that's kind of one of those things, right? Because I don't know beforehand, like, oh, I'm going to place a Target order, I'm going to do a Target pickup, I'm going to make this phone call. I don't have any idea so obviously I can't pre-plan for those things, but I like to add them to my planner so I know that I need to do that or it did happen. One of the other things that I've been enjoying recently is going back to some of the other sticker books that have boxes in them, like, because there's quite a wide variety of them. And again, I don't actually have any of the newer ones, but all of the ones that I have are several years old. But going back to those and then really sort of putting them to good use, and I didn't necessarily do that before, not because of hoarding practices or anything like that. There's just so many options. So I still have such a significant stash of boxes, if you will, and so I'm able to use them and really have a lot of fun with them now when I've had some time to not necessarily reflect on them, but maybe I've forgotten about those particular ones, and then they're fun to use, like they're almost like they're brand new. All right, so I have these Le Pen Flex brush lettering markers, and they are all pastels, and they're so pretty, and I absolutely love them. They just don't get used that often because, a pastel brush lettering marker isn't always necessary, but I do really have a great time using them. So they are great for this week when there is tons of pastels, and I wouldn't have wanted to use one of the more bold choices. And actually the tip is great. It's really very small, so it's great for the planners. And it's also, I think from what I understand, I went to Creativation last year and spoke to the Marvi Uchida team there, and it is a rubber tip, so it's not going to fray. So I found that to be really exciting because that's definitely one of the things with, say, Tombow markers. If you're using paper with tooth, it's definitely going to fray, and you're going to have a lot of trouble with that over time. And so that's exciting to have a long-term solution for those, the nibs or the tips on the brush lettering markers. So you can see I had a lot of extra white space, so I went ahead and filled that in with a full box, and I love that. It's so cute down there. I really do enjoy that when that happens, but sometimes there's not room for that. So instead, I just used my X-Acto knife and the ruler to go ahead and just add that little snippet right there, and I love the way that that is. I'm able to, a sticker that it seems a little bit weird, like, oh, how would I use this? And then actually make it work in my space. It's always so satisfying to me to make stickers work for myself, for me, for my purposes. So I really do enjoy that. Okay, so remember, we've talked about this. I don't usually use these full boxes because it doesn't fit how I plan necessarily, or I don't know, it's just not something that feels really natural to me. So I have been trying to use them more in my layering because that works just fine. And otherwise, I'm going to end up with a whole ton of these really big stickers. So look how adorable that is, layering a couple of different stickers underneath that black silhouette of Mickey. I absolutely love how that turned out. Like, seriously, it's definitely a favorite cluster for sure. And it still leaves me some room to add the things that I needed to put down on the page for Thursday. I love seeing how a week comes together. I don't know about you. Obviously, you probably do since you're watching a video about it, but I really love to see how like it all comes together. I look at it after I've pre-planned, done all my initial cluster of decorations and stuff, and then seeing the finished product. Now, of course, I always really love the finished product, but seeing how it all comes together and how it sort of takes on a life of its own each week is really fun. Now look at that, another full box at the top, because it just wasn't a very busy week for us. My kids were they're on summer break now. My oldest son has moved back to college, and so things were calm definitely for a little bit right there. And so I just didn't have as many things to include. So I was able to add a lot more decor, which again is really fun. I think that I personally get really hung up on making things super functional and stuff. And there are just weeks, especially in the summer, where there's not going to be as many things going on. And so I need to add some more decor. And it took a long time for me to sort of make peace with that the things weren't going to be like, oh my God, it's so functional, you know. Now this is some Mickey Mouse washi tape that I have in my stash. It's crazy old, but I thought I would add it down there at the bottom. I really love the pop of black and how that contrast just really stands out down there, but then also takes up a little bit of space as well. And so I'm able to fill it all up like I like to do in this particular planner. It's not necessarily my entire planning style forever and ever, but for right now, I really enjoy it and it's been fun to do. So yeah, and the washi, I mean, I don't know about you, but I still have a lot in my stash, even though I try to use it quite a bit and I use it around the house and stuff too. But I love to add a little bit here and there in my planner anytime that I can, just so I can use some of that stash. I'm sure some of you feel the same way, right? Like you've got it, you want to use it, but it can be hard to know how to design things to get it and make it all work. All right, so adding a little bit more brush lettering up there at the top. I'm loving notating the days that we were swimming as well. It just seems to help tell the story of the summer as well. Like it just makes this a little bit more like a scrapbook even, and not a scrapbook in terms of like what you're thinking, a traditional scrapbook, but like it's definitely memory keeping. That's absolutely for sure. And I really do enjoy that so much. I mean, I think that's why I plan in this style to not to begin with, because let's be clear, I started to keep myself on track, but now in hindsight, it adds a certain element of being able to look back upon and see all of those fun things. So that is it for me this week. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box below and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much and make it a great day.